Serious or dragged up the sheets. Looked at Susanna. I can't believe my eyes. Oh, geez, I can't understand. The cat would do what's it up here. Scratch. I was and all of testing, Kirby right back. Sure, hey. I gotcha. What's in this episode? No!